Hello. Happy Friday, everybody. So, this is a totally impromptu recording here. I need to record my episodes of the Poddy Report for next week. And I thought, well, why don't I just hop on and everybody can hang out here with me? So, hello, welcome. If you're watching on the replay, I'm excited. Make sure you put hashtag replay or just put the word replay and let me know that you're here. If you have any questions at all, either about the content that I'm talking about or about podcasting in general, let me know. Put in the comments. I just realized I don't have my watch on. Y'all, this tan, which by the way, it's not as bad as it is in the summer. It gets really bad in the summer. But yeah, I was like, man, my wrist looks weird. It's because I literally just took it off to go put it on. I took my watch off to put it on the charger. So if you don't already know this about me, I love Friends, first of all, and I love coffee. Well, I guess I love coffee, like, first and foremost. If there was, like, you had to take one of them away from me, you can have Friends give me coffee. But I'm excited because I'm recording the daily podcast. So there's a few things that we're going to talk about. I'm recording 5 episodes. They're all going to be 5 minutes or less. But if you have any questions, put them in the comments and we can chat about them later. So yeah, we're going to get started. I'm going to share my screen. So, and I want it to be where I'm smaller. There we go. So I want to explain my setup real fast. Maybe if I take this off. I'm clicking things around back here. So let me take that off. And I'm just excited because I like doing these. I think everybody always has questions whenever I do live recordings. So like I said, this is my daily show, the Poddy Report. I put them out every single week, Monday through Friday. They're 5 minutes or less. And it's just fun to share some of the behind the scenes of how all this works. So let me know if you have any questions, but we are going to get started. I'm using Hindenburg. This is my recording platform. And then I actually wanted to go into my stats real fast and look at my most popular downloads. Okay, so this is really fun to see which ones have been downloaded the most. And okay, so just for some context, because if you're looking at the numbers and you're like, oh my gosh, Crystal, like, your numbers are awful, or they're not, like, I don't have a ton. It's because, one, I don't do a ton of marketing for this podcast. And I created this actually to show the members of my podcast community all the back end. So, like, I keep all the really juicy stuff for my potty people. So shout out potty people. But I did want to go in and see, like, what is actually, the highest downloads. And with this one, it's really hard to establish which content is performing the best simply because it's ongoing. Like, most people don't go back and listen to all of this simply because it's real-time content and what is happening on a regular basis there. So I did just want to kind of show you that for reference, that microphones and talking about equipment and email list is always really popular with my audience anyway. So, yeah, I just wanted to give you a little context. But I did already plan out some of the content that we're going to talk about here today. But if y'all have any questions in the comments, let me know. I would love to chat about it. Hi, Kathy. Yeah, love that you pull us in when behind the scenes. Yes, I know that this audience loves to see a good behind the scenes. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to turn on my camera and let y'all hang out here with me. So if y'all have any questions, let me know. If it's in the process and you're like, why did you do that? Or can you do that in slow motion and show me how to do that? Let me know in the comments. Yeah, Kathy says, the Poddy Report joins me for my first cup of coffee each morning. I love this so much. Thank you for sharing that, Kathy. That makes me so happy, so excited that we get to have coffee together every day. I mean, literally, I'm recording this, drinking coffee, so it's like we're having coffee every time you hear it. Only thing, and this happens, I swear, anytime that I record and it's like impromptu, like, oh, I'm going to do it, there's someone mowing their lawn. And I'm just like, this happened. I know this happens to y'all too. I know this happens because y'all tell me about it. You're like, oh, it was right when the Amazon person decided to come and ring the doorbell, and the dog started barking, and then chaos happened upon my house. I get it, and y'all get it too. So we're just gonna roll with it. What I like about this microphone is you really can't hear a lot of the background noise, so it's fine. It's fine. It's gonna work out okay. So first things first, what I like to do, and I'm actually gonna go full screen for a second. I like to zoom in to where I have the end, like I told y'all earlier, these episodes are 5 minutes or less, and like here's the 5-minute mark. So I like to zoom in enough to where I know that, okay, I can watch this, and then whenever I hit this mark, which of course you can also look at this down here, if y'all can see that under that ticker, the 5-minute mark would also be right here, so I can look at it, but sometimes the mic's in the way and everything, so I don't always get a chance to, look down. I just it depends on where I'm looking. My eyes are kind of shooting all over the place. Yeah, Kathy says, usually it's Amazon drops and my dogs bark. Yes. Oh my gosh, this is so funny. Yes. I mean, and we've had so many interruptions. I have, if y'all have ever seen me, I'm like in my studio. It's my office, but I have 2 doors. So it's like French doors. And I was so grateful when we moved to this home because it's the first time we'd ever had a dedicated office space. And my husband works from home sometimes, especially this last year. We were both kind of sharing this space, but there's glass doors. And I have 3 kids, if you don't know this, and 2 of them are actually home today, and they will come and I say they, it's the 5-year-old. He will come and push so hard on these doors like he is just the king, and he's just like, I have entered, I am here. And I'm just like, really? Like, there's not another way that you can silently knock on the door like the older 2 do? Anyway, I digress. So if you have interruptions, totally normal. Totally normal. You are in good company. Okay, so first things first, like I said, I'm in Hindenburg, but if you are in Audacity or another platform, you always want to make sure that you have the right microphone selected. So here, I would go to my options in Hindenburg, and this is my mixer. So it's telling me that it's going to play back on my mixer. I actually have my headphones plugged in to my mixer right now, or my interface. It's not a mixer, it's an interface. I don't know why I always just interchange the 2 words. They're really not interchangeable, but this is what I do. And then this is making sure I'm recording with the right microphone. So always make sure that's good. We're good to go. Okay, Mandy is asking, is your mic the Rode Pod mic? Sorry if this has been asked a million times. No, it's not actually. Hang on one second, because what we have here, and I actually got these, I got one for Christmas, and I have not hooked it up. This is the Pod mic. What Mandy's talking about, no, if you notice, mine is a little bit skinnier and it's actually longer. This is the Procaster. So it's a Rode Procaster. It's a little bit different in setup. Both of these, you would have to have a stand or a boom arm of some sort. So I actually just upgraded my boom arm as well. Here, you know what? One of the episodes, maybe we'll do a little tour of my little office. Hang on, put this back. Because I started geeking out on all the equipment. It's usually not my thing, but I have been geeking out on equipment lately, and I just got a new boom arm that I haven't shown off yet. And I switched to this one. It's the Gator. Y'all, this is so funny. I have these boxes everywhere that I haven't thrown away. It's Gator Frameworks. It's a desk-mounted pro broadcast boom. And this one is really cool because it hides all the wires. Like the XLR cable is internalized. And so there's no wires. Okay, bear with me for a second because you might get a little dizzy. Do you see this? Oh, see, there's this wire. Oh, I can't do this and move the mic. Oh, no, hang on. Which way? Okay, so it has this wire, but this is that's it. It's on the outside, but all the other wires are internal. Really cool. And I switched from the Rode. I had the Rode boom arm. Oh no, see, now I moved, y'all, and now it's gonna be all wonky. I'm trying to move really slow, so it's not like, oh my gosh, we just had an earthquake. There we go. Okay, are we good? So I hope that that helps. But I really like this one, and I cannot tell you how much this boom arm costs simply because it was a gift, and so I don't know off the top of my head how much it would be on Amazon or anything like that. But I can tell you it's very cool. The only thing is we have a writing desk. Like our desk, it's big, it's beautiful. I love it so much, but it's super thick. Hang on. Like this is how thick the wood is on our desk. And so we had to put the grommet, my husband had to drill into the desk, which made me super nervous. Because I was like, oh my gosh, what if it's like off by a little bit? You have to make another hole. He did a fabulous job. He's a good carpenter. And so we drilled it into the desk, but it did come with a clamp mount for anybody that's wondering about a boom arm. So great questions. Y'all keep them coming. I so want to update my mic and so glad you asked. Yeah. So Kathy, if you want to, the Rode Pod mic is awesome. You do have to have an interface and XLR cables for that, but it's awesome. Like it sounds really, really good. It's a little bit cheaper than the one that I have here. Again, I purchased this one whenever I recorded the audiobook for Start a Binge-Worthy podcast. And that's why I decided to go with this one. I actually got a really good deal on it. Like even though it was more expensive, I got a good deal on it. And I love it. I love this microphone so much. Anything Rode, like I really like all of their products that I have used. So yeah. Great questions. Yes. Hello, Chris Duran. I love this name. Good vibes. Hello from Canada. Your videos are helping me a lot. Yeah, so happy that you're here. We're going to do a live recording of my daily podcast. Yeah, Mandy. So cool. I like that. Have to say cool. I like that. I'm trying to think of I don't know why Kelly Kapowski from Saved by the Bell just popped into my head thinking about that because I don't think she ever said that, but it's just, that's who I thought of when I just like, so cool. I like it. Okay, so we are going to get started. Already made sure that the right microphone was selected. I do this every single time. And then I also do this. If you've seen me do this before, you're going to be like, oh, she's going to do it. She's going to do it, and I am. Mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2. I do the dance, too. I always do this. I don't know why. And then I go back, and I listen to it. And like I said, I have as long as I don't, like, drop anything. Mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2. You can actually hear it. It's so loud. I don't know why it's so loud on here. Like, why the volume is turned up. But it sounds good. There's nothing crazy going on in the background. So we're good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the live recordings. Like I said, if y'all have any questions, let me know. Which one? Oh, I know which one. Okay, we're going to talk about interviews for a second. Okay, here we go. Welcome back to another episode of the Poddy Report. So today we are going to talk about interview batching. This is something that we've talked about batching before on the podcast. We've talked about it on the Profit podcast, but I think it's really important that whenever you're thinking about interviews, are you batching them? And the reason why I ask this is because whenever I first started, I will never forget, I was brand new to podcasting. I was trying to get all these people to do interviews, and I thought, it would be a great idea if I just batched a whole bunch of interviews in one day. And what ended up happening was, I will never forget, one day I had 4 interviews in one day. Yes, 4 interviews, meaning they were about an hour apiece. I had to prepare for all of them, meaning I had to come up with questions, had to make sure I had the person's bio, their headshot, like all the things for one day. I do not recommend this, okay? This is not what I mean by interview batching. That's cool if you want, you have a tight schedule. Maybe you work your 9 to 5 and you're doing your podcast on the side, and that is all you can do. That is the only solution you have. Then by all means, do what works best for you. But I do not recommend this approach. Instead, what I recommend is interview batching by month. So I've talked on the podcast before that in the month of December, I didn't do any outside interviews, meaning I wasn't a guest on someone else's show and no one else came onto my podcast that was brand new to my network, to my community. That was a pitch that someone had given me and I was like, oh, let me figure it out. I wanted to take it easy in December. I had hustled so hard in October with launching the book. And then in November, hang on, let me back up even further. In September, I re-recorded my course. And then in October, I focused on the book. November, I was working on editing and the back-end logistics of getting the course ready to launch it in December. And then, of course, December is just crazy busy whenever you have a family. And on top of that, everybody got strep throat. So I was so grateful that I didn't have a ton of interviews going on because, I mean, it can just be a lot. So I recommend batching by months. So look at your calendar. I wish that you can see, I just ordered a 2021 wall calendar. And I know my husband, he's like against paper things. He doesn't understand why I have a paper planner or why I would need to see. He's like, you have Google Calendar. Why do you need to see? I'm a visual person. So I like that I can actually go to my calendar or I could just take a quick glance right now, even while I'm recording this. I can look and say, okay, I know exactly when spring break is, like in a split second, not, oh, I have to pull it up on my phone or I have to look at it on my calendar. In a split second, I can tell you exactly when spring break is for my kids and know, okay, I don't need to have anything scheduled around that time, even if we're not doing anything or going anywhere. You need those breaks, right? You need that time off. So make sure that you're protecting your time, that you're going to interview other people. I think it's awesome if you're batching and you're trying to get it done, but don't try to keep like so many interviews. I'll talk to people and they're just like, oh yeah, I had like 4 interviews this week and I have 4 interviews next week and I have 2 more after that. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, when are you going to take a break? We all need breaks. I won't do interviews in the summer. This is just a rule that I have since I started podcasting. I don't do interviews. I may air interviews in the summer. Maybe I'll batch a whole bunch in the month of May, and then those will last me through June, July, and the beginning of August. But I won't do brand new interviews in the summer. So look at your calendar, ask yourself, how can I batch my interviews? How can I make this work for my schedule, both personally and professionally? Because then you will be more likely to be excited about those interviews whenever they happen. But that's all I have for you today. So remember, keep it fresh, keep it fun, and just keep going. Okay, one down. And I've realized something lately. So if you're brand new to this podcast, I don't edit. I used to say I don't edit at all, but I will say I've noticed that there's a clicking at the beginning. You can hear my mouse click whenever I first start recording. So I have started to delete that because that drives me nuts. No, let's not have the clickety clicks whenever we do this. Okay, so the Poddy Report, and then I will title this Interview Batching. And later on, I'll go back and export them and upload them to Buzzsprout and all that. But I just label it something that I know I'll remember what it was about, and then maybe I'll make a note. If y'all haven't seen this before, this is my planner, and I'll make little notes in my notebook, and that's really all it is. These episodes aren't like strategically planned with really detailed outline. It's literally one word. I know what I want to talk about because these are things that are either questions from people they've asked me throughout the week or things that I've just been wanting to share with the community. So we're just going for it here. Okay, this is all impromptu, and I just go for it. Okay, so now we are going to talk about content planning. And I've been talking a lot about content planning simply because this is what I get asked about all the time. So we're going to talk about a new spin on content planning that I was recently looking at on YouTube. So if you're a YouTuber, or if you're interested in YouTube, let me know your questions in the comments about how to incorporate your podcast content with YouTube. But, I zoomed in, so let me zoom back out. Okay. So, already did a mic check. Let me get a drink. And I always have like 2 or 3 drinks. So this is bubble water. And I actually you're not supposed to drink carbonated beverages when you're recording because you might get the burpee burps, but I do anyway, and I try to mask it when that happens. And I don't always do that well, but I'm human, so whatever. Whatever. Okay, so content planning. Okay. Welcome back to another episode of the Poddy Report. So today we are going to talk about content planning. I know I talk about this all the time. It's because it is that important, right? It's not enough to just record one incredible piece of content that you're going to put out. You have to think about, what are you going to do next? Now, I don't want you to get caught up in this, like, well, if you're always focused on the next thing, how can you focus on what you're doing right now? What I want you to do is, for most of you, most podcasters, most people thinking about podcasting that are listening to this show, you're probably publishing episodes once a week. Okay, this is typical for most podcasters, and this is what I recommend you do within the first 6 months to even a year of your show. Don't try to say, okay, I'm going to go gung-ho, I'm going to podcast every day, because that's a quick way to burn out unless you have a solid plan in place. What I would love to see you do is publish one episode every week. And, most months have 4 weeks in them, right? We have a few here and there that will have 5 weeks or something like that. But for the assumption that we're using for this podcast episode, let's just assume there are 4 podcasts in a month, okay? Now, what I want you to do is look at your previous content. If you haven't launched yet and you're like, well, I don't have any previous content, just bear with me. Maybe you have done some Instagram post or Facebook post or sent some of your emails. I want you to look at, what is the most consumed content that you're creating right now. Now, I wanted to bring up YouTube in this because recently I was looking at my YouTube videos and I was looking at all the ones. And at this point, I think that I've published close to 200 videos. I don't even know. I've done a lot. I've done a lot of videos in the last, I guess it's been about a year and a half of doing them 2 videos a week for, I think it's been about a year and a half. So there's a lot of content that I can consume data from and ask myself, okay, what's performing best? What do people really want to see on this channel? And I realized on YouTube, there's a way that you can sort your content, like the data, by how old it is, or what, sorry, not your data, but yeah, hang on, not the content, but you can sort your data. So you can say, in the last 28 days, what has been consumed the most? And then you can say, what about just in 2020, right? From January to December of 2020. Or you could go to the lifetime of your channel and they will tell you, these are the top 10 videos, or you could just look at the top 3. But for me, I noticed a trend on YouTube that really surprised me. And I had kind of seen things going this way, but it really shocked me just how much the content of one specific topic was being consumed. So if I look at my top 10 on YouTube, the topic that is like, I think it's not the top 5 videos, but it's the top recurring theme is solo podcast. And I thought, whoa, okay, well, I always talk about podcasting, but I'm never very specific to just solo podcast, right? Like I talk about if you have interviews, if you have solo episodes, but I never just say, hey, solo podcasters, this is just for you. If you do an interview show, like, you need to go somewhere else. I never say that. I never want to exclude anybody that's thinking about podcasting, because I know there's hobby podcasters, there's entrepreneur podcasters, there's people that want to do this with a co-host. There's so many different ways that you can take a spin on podcasting, but seeing that really opened my eyes to a different type of topic that I never would have uncovered had I not looked at the data. So the whole point of this episode today is to make sure that you're looking for clues to what your audience really wants. This could be your Instagram audience, your Facebook audience. Do you have a Facebook group? And when you do this one type of post, it just like blows all the other ones out of the water. It just performs so much better. look at all the different ways that you can kind of get information on who your audience is, what they want to hear from you, and what content is performing the best, and then start creating spin-off pieces of that type of content. But that's all I have for you today. So remember, keep it fresh, keep it fun, and just keep going. Okay, that one's done. Y'all let me know if y'all have any questions about that. I actually, let me see. Like I said, I like to trim off this little click because it drives me nuts. It drives me crazy, y'all. I can't handle the click. It's like the little pet peeves that I have. There's a few when it comes to whenever people are recording. I cannot stand hearing the click. It drives me nuts. Okay. I feel like I have a piece of mascara in my eye, and I'm not wearing makeup at all right now. So I'm like, what's going on? I have eyelash. Something is trying to blind me. Okay. Okay, now we're going to talk about live podcast recordings because this is something I get asked about a lot too. Okay. Armit, ready? Oh my gosh. Hang on. I gotta laugh at myself for a second. Because I just heard my cheerleading voice that used to say, ready, okay. Oh my gosh. I just like took me back. I'm like 16. I'm on like, I have hands on my side. Ready, okay. Oh my gosh. Oh, now I gotta. Ooh, you know what? We're just gonna go right into it. We're just gonna bring this funny energy into this episode. Oh my gosh. Welcome back to another episode of the Poddy Report. So I'm laughing. I'm literally laughing while I'm recording this because we're talking about live podcast recordings and I'm live. Like I'm on Facebook and YouTube right now. And right before I started talking, I said, okay, we were having a little off-air chat for a second and I said, ready? And in my mind, I flashed back to being 16 years old on the football field as a cheerleader saying, ready, okay, and like wanting to clap. Oh my gosh, y'all, I'm crying. This is so funny. The reason why I bring this up is because I wanted to talk about live podcast recordings and how you just never know. I think live podcast recordings are so fun, and I don't think enough people take advantage of it because they're either a little nervous about what they're going to say or maybe a question that they're going to get asked and they're like, oh my gosh, what if someone puts me on the spot? Well, I think it just depends on your audience and it depends on your show. I know that there are some podcasters that will do a regular episode that maybe it's them or they're doing an interview style show, but then they'll do a bonus episode, right? Like maybe on a Friday afternoon, they'll put out, oh, well, here's my bonus episode. I just went live. I did Ask Me Anything. I think those are really popular. Those are something that you can actually do on Instagram. So let's talk about this for a second. So I'm using StreamYard. I'm going live on my Facebook page, on my Facebook group, and on YouTube all at the same time. But I could also go live on Instagram and just record this all in Hindenburg, which is actually what I'm doing. I mean, if I wanted to, I could download the StreamYard recording because they allow you to do the audio only. But I prefer to record it in Hindenburg because it's what I use on a regular basis to record my podcast. So it's normal, like, right? So it's kind of like that's what I'm using as my baseline. And then all the live streaming stuff is the extra kind of the icing on top because it brings in the experience that the community can sit here and ask me questions or chime in. Like we had a great conversation. Kathy, she's one of our Poddy people. So shout out Kathy. She was telling me, she really enjoys listening to this podcast while she drinks her cup of coffee in the morning. And that just makes me like, it just warms my heart a little bit to know that I'm interacting with my audience, not only while we're here live, but whenever they're listening to this episode, whenever it's published. So it's really cool. It's a fantastic way for you to engage and connect with your audience. But again, I think that this is something that's kind of the extra added on top. I don't recommend brand new podcasters starting out live streaming their shows simply because there's a lot of emotions. Let's just be honest. There's lots of things going on whenever you're just getting started with your podcast. And for you to be like, wait, is this really recording? Is it like, am I going to sit here and talk for 30 minutes and then it's not actually going to work? Or did I do it right? Does the mic sound bad? Is there like a buzzing noise because Facebook did something weird? That's happened to a lot of podcasters that I know before. So I want you to just do your thing whenever you're just getting started. Don't try to be fancy. Don't try to live stream, live record. Get comfortable with your podcast processes first, and then add on the extra, right? Add on the extra flavor of going live in your group and recording yourself, or maybe going live on YouTube and then taking that audio and using it. But I think that live streaming your podcast can be a really fun way to add the experience and even reach new potential listeners, because maybe people follow you on other platforms that didn't even know you had a podcast. And then all of a sudden you're on Instagram Live talking about things and they're like, oh, wait, you do this for your podcast regularly? I didn't know that. Let me go back and listen to all of your other episodes or all the other fantastic information that you have. So it's a way to reach current people, but also reach potential new listeners of your show. So I love live streaming your show. It's what I'm doing right now. If you want to go see the live stream of this episode, you can actually go to my YouTube channel or join us in our free Facebook community, crystalprofit.com/podcast community, and join us there. We would love to have you. But that's all I have for you today. So remember, keep it fresh, keep it fun, and just keep going. Okay, done with that one. And y'all, this is really what I do. I talk to myself whenever I'm recording, just because it's what I do, y'all. It's what I do. Just imagine me always talking of some level. It's what I do. It's what I do. It's why I love to podcast. It's why I have so many podcast episodes. I was looking the other day, and I think I'm almost to 450 podcasts, which is kind of crazy. That there's that many out there. Yeah, Mandy says, I'm loving your technique. I have to try it. Yeah, the live streaming while you're recording is so fun. Like I said, I don't recommend it to people that are just getting started, but if you feel comfortable with your show, it's a lot of fun. I like adding it into to what we're doing here. So I did these out of order, but that's okay because I didn't say on yesterday's episode. Sometimes I'll do that, and then I'm like, oh crap, I can't rearrange the order. But I do have a masterclass coming up next week, so I want to mention it in this episode and tell people how to register. So that's really what this one's going to be about. It'll probably be shorter than the other ones. So yeah, here we go. Let me get another sip. Hang on. But see, look, we're 30 something minutes in, and I'm almost finished. So this will be good. Okay. Welcome back to another episode of the Poddy Report. So today I am so excited to share with you that I have a brand new free training coming up this week. So if you're listening to this in real time, this Thursday on February 4th at 10 a.m. Central, I am doing a live masterclass all about the 4 insider secrets every podcaster needs to know. I'm actually sharing with you a lot of the behind the scenes that no one's ever seen. I've shared a few graphics here and there of what my podcast journey has been like, but we're going on a deep dive, like a deep dive on how I took my podcast from a struggling show that was barely getting by to an award-winning, top-rated podcast. So I'm really excited to share with you some of the things that I wish I would have known whenever I first started, and some of the insider secrets that most podcasters don't realize are so important to turning their show around. Yeah, because I know there's a lot of people that are in this community. They follow me on Instagram and on Facebook, and they're on my email list. And y'all aren't brand new, right? I know this about you. A lot of you have started podcasts, but it's not going the way you had hoped it would, right? Either you are struggling to get downloads, you're struggling to get engagement, or you just don't feel like you're connecting well with your audience at all, then you need to come to this free masterclass. The insider secrets are great for someone brand new, but also someone that's looking to revive a show that's been struggling, because I have been there, okay? I've been there where I am just struggling to get by. I was like so close to being completely burned out. I was being very reactive and not proactive every single week with my show. And I was just to the point where I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to quit doing this. And I don't say that a lot publicly because I never want anyone to think, like, oh, like she just figured this out. Like she's always had this passion. There was a time where I seriously thought about quitting because I wasn't on the right track with my show. And it really all came down to the 4 insider secrets that I'm sharing in this masterclass, because once I figured those out, oh, I can't wait to share this with you. The graphic. I have one graphic that I am so excited to share with you because it shows what it was like whenever I first started. My first year of podcasting was pretty flat. It was a pretty flat metric of, okay, when are things going to take off? And then you see this huge peak, right? This huge jump from everything being level to all of a sudden everything clicked. And I love sharing these secrets with you because I know that if you've been struggling to get started or you've been struggling to just fall in love with your podcast, then this masterclass can show you so many things and so many reasons why I love podcasting. So if you're interested in joining us, make sure you go to profitpodcasting.com/4secrets. profitpodcasting.com/4secrets. And I'm going to have a link in the episode description where you're listening to this, so you can always go check it out there. But we would love to have you join us. This is going to be live on February 4th at 10 a.m. Central. And I hope to see you there, and tell me in the comments whenever you show up. I heard about this on the Poddy Report, and I'm excited to hear what all we need to know as brand new podcasters or people that are trying to revive our shows. So again, go to profitpodcasting.com/4secrets. But that's all I have for you today. So remember, keep it fresh, keep it fun, and just keep going. Okay. So that was a little bit longer. I thought it was going to be shorter. Okay, that was a little bit harder because I was trying to remember all the things that I wanted to say. And I'm like, wait, don't leave it out. But again, okay, keep going. So I do recommend scripting yourself if you need to remember really important information. All of that I had already in my head because I recently did a bunch of posts. Oops, I meant to go in. I recently did a bunch of posts, so I knew exactly what that URL was, and I didn't have to look it up. So I was good with that one. Okay, so the last one I have is how to decide on your next piece of content, but I feel like I've covered that. So if anybody has any questions, I'm actually going to do one about the Rode Pod mic because this is a question that I get asked a lot. So hang on. So let's just open this, okay? We are going to open this, and I want to kind of open it a little bit, and then I'll finish opening it. And I'm actually going to make this smaller. There you go, so you can see me. Y'all, I have fingernails, and by that, I mean like they're my real nails, and I need to cut them, but I'm kind of glad I have them right now because I can open this big honking box. Oh, I said that. I don't know if I can now. Oh, this is why I don't do unboxing videos, because this is what happens to me. Someone told me one time, they were like, you would get fantastic watches on your YouTube channel if you did unboxing videos. This is why I don't do unboxing videos. I can't make it look like, oh, look at this, camera angle and do this. I'm the one that's like, open it with my mouth. Oh my gosh. This is so funny. Okay. Let me see. Did I even do this right? What's happening? What is happening here? Okay. Again, this is why I don't do unboxing videos. I want to talk about this and its cool features, but okay, there we go. So this was just like a cover for the box. Can you see it? Oh, okay. Oh yeah, that looks really different. So this is actually what it looks like on the outside. This is what it looks like on the box. So, and again with the tape. Okay, now I'm gonna start recording because I'm gonna unbox this, which is gonna sound weird on the podcast, but I want to talk about it because there's just some important things you got to know. Oh, it's so cute. It's so cute. I need to get it hooked up. Actually, I thought about installing another boom arm and having two boom arms, like microphones, and being able to just be like, push them both back. But I have no need for that. That's just, it's a little extravagant. It's a little too much. I don't need to do that. Okay. Hang on. I broke my own rule. I like to have this zoomed out to where I can see 5 minutes right here. I don't know why, if it's like a comfort thing that I do that, but I want to see it. I need one more drink. Okay. Now, here we go. Back. Welcome back to another episode of the Poddy Report. So this is going to be a little different today because I'm actually live streaming this right now, and I wanted to do, I was telling everybody before I started recording on the podcast, I'm like, this is why I don't do unboxing videos, because I open things with my teeth and I will I look like a rabid raccoon trying to get into boxes. It's just why you don't see a lot of unboxing videos on my YouTube channel. And I've had many people tell me, you would get so many watches if you do that on your YouTube channel. And I'm like, no, I'm not coordinated enough to do that. It's not my thing. But I did want to open this while we're live streaming, while I'm recording this, because I want to talk about this. So I've been getting questions about the Rode Pod mic. So RODE Pod mic. This is really cool. So I'm going to show y'all. Oh my gosh, y'all. It's so heavy. I did not really, this thing is heavy. So if you notice, if you're watching, it looks just like my microphone. So if you are, if you've seen pictures of me whenever I'm in my office, or you've seen Instagram or my stories where I'm recording, then you'll notice that the Rode kind of all looks the same. I have the Rode Procaster. That is my newest microphone. Well, this one is kind of the mini version. It's a little bit smaller, but it's actually fatter. This one is a little bit fatter than my Rode Procaster. But what I will tell you, there's a few things. So on the box, it says there's an internal pop filter. It's broadcast quality. It's rugged build. I can tell you, it is rugged build. This thing feels like I would never throw it, but it feels like I could absolutely break a window if I were to pick up this thing and chunk it across the room for real. And then it comes with a 2-year warranty from Rode. So super cool. It has a little quick start guide in it as well. One thing to note is, actually there's a few things to note. First and foremost, it is XLR cable ready, which means it is not a USB. So you can't just take this out of the box and plug it directly into your computer, your laptop, unless you have an XLR cable. Now, because I've been podcasting for a while and I have other devices that I've used my XLR microphones with before I upgraded to my Rode Procaster, I have a spare XLR cable. So I could plug that in and start talking on this microphone. However, there's no stand. So this does not automatically come with a stand here in the box. right? Like, so I literally just have the box that if you were to go purchase this at Guitar Center or somewhere else, I know it's hard to find Rode equipment on Amazon. They don't really like selling on Amazon. So, but you can find these devices at Guitar Center or other places like that. Best Buy. I'm thinking of what is the other one? Sweetwater. I think that's what it is. B&H. You can go look at those stores and find these devices, but there is no stand. So if you have a boom arm, this is what I would recommend you purchase, and you're just getting started. I want to say right now, right? Like, it's all, pricing is all relative. I think that these are around $100. And the reason why I would recommend purchasing this microphone with an XLR, you can get an Amazon Basics XLR cable for like $10. They're not super expensive. And finding either a stand or purchasing a boom arm with this mic, I would recommend it over a Blue Yeti. Okay. And I know a lot of people, they love a Blue Yeti. I used one for, I want to say, a year and a half before I upgraded. The thing is that those, like, they catch every single echo. I'm in my office and there's tile and there's lots of windows and all the things in here, and my Blue Yeti echoes. These microphones don't pick that up. It's what's called a dynamic microphone, and it is meant to deaden the echo sound. So if you're having echo problems, I highly recommend checking out the Pod Mic. Go watch this video if you want a little tutorial of what it actually looks like. But that's all I have for you today. So remember, keep it fresh, keep it fun, and just keep going. Okay. That is it. Y'all, this thing is like super heavy. It's super, super heavy. I'm not kidding. It's way heavier than this one. This one it's on a shock mount and everything. So, I mean, I don't actually pick it up. And it's on the boom arm, so I don't, but when it's not connected to anything, this thing is way heavier than that. Rode Pod Mic. Okay, but that's all I have, guys. This is all. I was just going to hop on, and I wanted to do a quick recording of the Poddy Report. I had to get these out today anyway. Oh my gosh, like, it doesn't say how much it weighs on the side. I don't think it does. But y'all, this thing is heavy. Like, don't mess around with the Pod Mic. I was going to see if it had on here a weight because it's really heavy. But that's all I have for y'all today. So I hope that you enjoy this. I hope that you have a fantastic weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, y'all.